Hi there, I'm Suzanne, your friendly Stampin' Up demonstrator in Canada. Welcome to my monthly paper pumpkin alternative video on my YouTube channel and blog. I share 5 alternative ways to use the kit in this video, and I sell the products I feature as well. I hope you enjoy my free video tutorial and would love to see you sign up with me as a Paper Pumpkin subscriber. Visit sunstampin.com for more information. I have chosen the ultimate spooky music to introduce to you the Paper Pumpkin Kit for September 2018 called Frights and Delights, and they are advertising a fun new tool called Take Your Pick. I'm just demonstrating it here for you, and I will be using this tool throughout the video today. So here's the stamp set. It's Halloween themed. Just showing you that I'm swapping out my ink spot for a larger ink pad. And then of course, this is what you're supposed to make, these little bags, and this is all the stuff that you get in the kit for this month. Stampin' Up does a really good job of showing you how you're supposed to put it together, but my job is to share with you alternatives. So moving on to alternative number 1, I have a piece of Whisper White thick card base and then a quarter sheet of Whisper White thick card. So I have lined it up with the 1 inch, and I'm going from 1 inch on the inside. Basically, I'm making a frame. So, and the frame is 1 inch wide. So you can use your trimmer. I have really wanted Stampin' Up to create some dies that would be awesome for this kind of thing, so that we wouldn't have to fussy cut. Okay, so, and also I've trimmed off the bag part of my spider bag, and now I'm cutting it flat. So I have my ink sponge here, or my Stampin' sponge, and I'm inking up my frame, and I'm dirtying it up because it's supposed to look creepy and like Halloween-like, right? So this mat is called a blending mat. I believe you can get it online. It was sent to me from a girlfriend from England, and it helps me tap off my ink off to the side and then pick it up when I need it. Now, this is an archival basic gray, so that means that it's kind of permanent and it will stick on non-porous surfaces like this. So an alcohol wipe will clean it up, FYI. All right, so fast fuse on the back of my frame, and then I'm going to adhere my spider bag that is no longer a bag, it's more spider plastic now. And I'm going to adhere that behind the frame. And you guessed it, I'm going to make a shaker card for today. So cutting off the excess, actually very poorly. I am a hairdresser. That was a really messy cut. I should have some finesse or something, right? Okay, so now I have my foam adhesive strips. These are fantastic for making shaker cards. However, you don't have to use them. You could use, and I will show you in a second, the bones or the edge pieces of the dimensionals that come in the kit. Do you see what I'm doing here? I'm just measuring and measuring on the other side, making a release. Then I'm coming in with my Take Your Pick tool and changing it to the pokey end, and then just lifting off. And now I have something to trap my shaker guts inside. So I did notice that there is a slight difference in height, so I went back to using my foam adhesive strips, and I also like to put just a few little bits and pieces on the corners so the corners stay properly lifted. So this is a very small peek of the massive collection I have of sequins, because again, I'm a hoarder. Look at this. It's got a little kitty cat. So this particular sequin mix comes from Studio Katja. She's a Canadian lady out of Edmonton, and she has a lot of sequins that I have been addicted to for a very long time. You know, don't judge everybody, honestly. So I've added quite a bit. I've added some silver discs and a fall-themed shaker sequins. They're just gorgeous. They all mix together. There's purple in there and green, and it's very, I don't know, Halloween-esque. So here's wee Casper, and put some fast fuse behind his head to adhere the silver disc that comes in the kit. Now I am dirtying him up because no ghost is completely white. They are kind of, you know, dirty in my mind. So I have brought a couple different colors in because they only gave you gray in the kit, and it's not, I have some colorful sequins in there. So I went with Gorgeous Grape, Pumpkin Pie, and Basic Gray. So I'm just stamping the Frights and Delights sentiment on a strip of Whisper White. And then I did use my bone folder to sort of curve it up and flip it around. I did that for a couple of reasons. The window, the spider plastic, is not as rigid as a normal window would be. So therefore, I didn't want any kind of pressure on it. And when I go to adhere the sentiment strip, I don't want it to interfere at all from the like the shaker gets moving around. So here I am trying to remove the release paper of the dimensionals, and I'm adhering my little flagged end sentiment from on one side, and then Casper gets double dimensionals on his bottom, and then just one dimensional on his little head, because he's it will just make it even, if you know what I mean. And look at this tool. I'm able to grab one of these stupid glue dots that come in the kit. Like, we all struggle with them, right? But I was able to take it off the page with my take your pick tool and take the release paper off of it as well. So, and fold it in half so that it actually stuck to my baker's twine. So I think that this tool is a fantastic thing for Paper Pumpkin subscribers, because it really will help you with a successful project, or making the project more successful, because you won't be struggling with the silly little glue dots. Okay, so anyway, moving on, card number 2. This one's super simple too, and I'm utilizing my my tool here. This is Gorgeous Grape card stock, and I am lifting the boo with the spatula end. I didn't know at first what the spatula was going to be for, but it makes quick work of releasing these boo stickers from their sticker sheet. Like, it's perfect for this. So whoever thought to advertise to Paper Pumpkin subscribers was pretty smart, because I'm on that bandwagon. All right, so here's another Casper. I like ghosts, you know, like, well, I should rephrase. I don't necessarily believe in ghosts, but if I like friendly ghosts as opposed to jack-o'-lanterns. I've never really liked jack-o'-lanterns, to be honest, but it is what it is. So here is some twine, wrapping that around. I did tie it in a knot, but I will tie it in a bow in a second. I've cut off a little piece of the silver sticker sheet, and I have made a silver line to which I'm going to adhere right next to the baker's twine. Trying to make sure that it's all straight. Cutting off the excess, and then I ended up swapping out some of the, and here I swapped out the old baker's twine for this because I wanted to have a longer bow. And then what I did on the card was I just made a little snip so that the twine would fit in there really nicely and it was not going to move, because that's the problem that I was having. Anyway, Wink of Stella over Casper, and there you go. That's the card for number 2, I think. Moving on to card number 3. Don't you just dig this creepy music? Okay, so I have all sticky Post-it notes. I've used the negative to the jack-o'-lantern cutout. So they're laser cut and the jack-o'-lantern was in them. And so what I'm doing is I'm sponging with my dauber with pumpkin pie on Whisper White card and a little bit of Old Olive. Has to be Old Olive. No other green is right for a pumpkin than Old Olive for the top. Now I've moved my little stencil, and here's the jack-o'-lantern, and I'm just going to Post-it note him in place. And now I'm going in for a second pumpkin, to which I'm just going, it's like a sponging. It's real easy to do. These sponge daubers get into real small places. I'm able to put the pumpkin pie color plus the Old Olive color, no problem. My jack-o'-lantern is in place, covering up the very first pumpkin that I sponged, so that these pumpkins, these next 2 pumpkins are actually sitting behind it, or it makes it look like that anyway. The joy of masking, love it. So here's my 3 pumpkins. I know it doesn't look like much, but I go in with my pumpkin pie watercolor pencil, not getting it wet, and I create the pumpkin grooves. So if you don't have this particular pencil, watercolor pencil, go ahead and use a pencil crayon that is orange. It is that simple. You could even use a gray, like a regular pencil, as long as you go really lightly, thicker at the top and bottom, and thinner on the widest part of the pumpkin. All right, so that was a little bit of a close-up, and then I kind of went in and scuffed up the stems, and then I just drew some curlicues, because I always think that that's these little vines that come with the gourds and pumpkins. That's what you're supposed to do, right? So, and I used Old Olive marker for that, but any green pen would do. I'm trying to give you substitutions in case you don't have access to a lot of the things that I am describing, but you can use your imagination. If you have a green pen, that would work too. I work with the stuff that I have. And of course, you probably know a fantastic Stampin' Up! Demonstrator that could help you get some of these products. All right, so I have sponged on a little bit more of the gray for the ground. And then the sentiment that says, "It's Halloween." Here's my baker's twine that came in the kit. And I am going to tie a bow, actually. I'm into the baker's twine bows lately. And I always want to leave the tails long, but it was getting in the way of the sentiment, so I had to cut the tail a little bit shorter. So I've abused my dimensionals here, and it's just because this was a Whisper White thin card stock for my focal piece, and I really didn't want it to collapse on me. So I again used a little glue dot and my take your pick tool and adhered my bow to the card. Super cute. It would have been nice for Thanksgiving as well. Moving on to card number 4. Okay, so in case you don't know this, this is my favorite technique in stamping or in card making. I love inking with sponges. I love it. I love, 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 love it. I would do it all the time if I could. So the color combination I have used here is pumpkin pie, melon mambo, gorgeous grape, and basic gray. I'm using a post-it note to make sure that my fingers don't make marks in my sponging. I have sped this up to astronomical superhuman speed. I do not sponge this fast. And yeah, so I just wanted to show you the whole process. It takes a long time. And it's super relaxing for me. I love the color blends that I get. Most of the time my color choices are right on. Sometimes I make mud. Hey, everybody does. This is a new product I've been playing with this last little while. It's called Shimmer Paint, and it's a pigment ink. That's what I was trying to say. Anyway, I flicked it on with my paintbrush, and I have made like little speckles on my background that I sponged, and it's supposed to be an eerie looking background. So these little rectangle pieces came in the kit. They're supposed to be the bottom of the bags. So I took a couple and I cut some houses, like just housey shapes. I tried to be as bad as I could. So they're not accurate. They're supposed to look creepy. With my sponge dauber and my gray ink, I sponged the houses and made them dark. So this is a piece that comes in the kit. I haven't used it at all. And I have just making little slivers, and I cut them to make little windows for the houses. And I'm using my take your pick tool, picking up the yellow paper and then holding with my left hand the pick so that the putty on the end of the take your pick tool doesn't lift the paper that I'm trying to put down back up. So it's kind of like I feel like a surgeon, really. I got all my tools. Actually, it's one of the pieces of advice that I've always said to stampers, to anybody who asks, well, what's the basic things that I need to get? And I would say, spend your money on the tools. Trimmers, scoring tools, scissors. Spend the money on the tools. Your stamps come and go, colors come and go, but your tools are going to be lasting you the longest throughout your hobby. All right, so here are my houses. I did have to dry them with my heat tool because they were pretty, it was a shiny kind of a non-porous surface on those little treat bags bottoms. So it took a while to dry them out. But I'm impatient, so I brought in my heat tool. All right, so here's that shimmer paint again, or pigment ink. And I used, dipped my paintbrush into here. And it's kind of, you know what this reminds me of, you guys? It reminds me of the Wink of Stella, only better. Like, oh, I'm going to be using this stuff for the next, I don't know, for the next long while. You might as well just get yourself some, because all of my examples are going to be using it. I love it. It's like Wink of Stella. It's Wink in a jar. Okay, so I used the metal that would have been, or the silver foil that would have been behind the jack-o'-lantern, and I cut out a spooky looking moon, and then I put in the spooky sentiment, and then my super winkified bat. I colored 2 of them. So I've adhered this bat down, and then there's bats in the stamp set as well. So I stamped 4 of those. And then I felt like the bottom or the ground wasn't dark enough. Like I needed it to be darker. And instead of pulling out the black ink pad that I would have normally done, I just decided to go over it several times with my basic gray. And look at this silvery bat did not go to waste. It's going to go on the inside of the card. Shocking, I know. I rarely do anything to the inside, but a sparkly bat, come on. There's my spooky card. Okay, last card for the Paper Pumpkin September 2018 kit. Here I have the spider web bag, and I have cut down the bottom. Now I'm using Sizzix. There are like it's called the adhesive sheet. Stampin' Up likes to rename stuff, but basically it is a die cutting sheet. You're supposed to be using it for die cutting anyway. So what I ended up doing was putting the adhesive sheet on a piece of Whisper White, just regular cardstock. Now I'm removing the release paper, and I'm going to adhere the plastic bag. So it's just like what I did in the first card, but the whole sheet is going to be, or the whole page is covered with my plastic bag. Isn't that a brilliant idea? I know, right? I'm teasing. So basically I am, this is going to be a spider themed card. So if you don't like spiders, don't watch. This is just the twine that came in the kit. I just wrapped it around, no rhyme nor reason. But now I put on a spider trinket that you'll find in the catalog. It is a really cute spider, but I mean, it's creepy. The one thing I really like about this particular card is that the spider actually will go from side to side on the card because the plastic makes it slippy. It's creepy. That is the scariest card I've made, I think. So adhered the eek from the sticker page, and there you go. There's nothing more to be done on that card. So I have a whole bunch of stills of these designs on my Facebook page. Feel free to jump on by, but I'll give you a run through of all the cards I made today. And I hope you have a lovely weekend and the beginning of October. Thanks so much for joining me, and I will see you again soon. Bye. Hey, thanks for sticking around to the end of the video. On screen are 2 more videos for inspiration. Click on the maple leaf for my blog, or click on me to subscribe to my channel. Thanks again for watching.